Okay, welcome back. So, with continuation to our previous lecture, we can see one more problem in our riveted joints. So, all the problems what we are going to discuss is of different type. So, there is no interconnection between one and one another problem. Okay. Now, let us look into this particular problem. So, there is a bracket which is riveted to a column by 6 rivets of equal sizes as shown in figure, where 6 is nothing but n. Okay, it carries a load of 60 kilonewton at a distance of 200 mm, where this is nothing but a E and this is nothing but a P. So, from the center of the column, if the maximum shear stress in the rivet is to be limited to 150 megapascal, which is nothing but tau, so determine the diameter of the rivet. It is asked to find out the diameter of the rivet. So, it is very clear. We need to find out the diameter of the rivet, and we have to identify the remaining part from the diagram which has been provided. ஸோ நான் ப்ரீவியஸ் ப்ராப்ளத்தில் சொன்ன மாதிரி தான், நீங்கள் எப்போ இந்த மாரி ரிவீட்டட் ஜாயின்ஸ் கொடுத்தாலும் இந்த ரிவீட்டட் ஜாயின்ஸுக்கு ஃபஸ்ட் யூ ட்ரை டு ஐடென்டிஃபை த டைரக்ட் ஷியர் லோட் அண்ட் செகண்டரி ஷியர் லோட். இது ரெண்டையும் நீங்கள் கண்டுபிடிக்க பழகிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா த ப்ராப்ளம் இஸ் வெரி சிம்பிள். ஓகே, ஸோ வித் கனெக்ஷன் டு த ப்ரீவியஸ் ப்ராப்ளம் லெட் மீ டூ இட் ஃபார் ஒன்லி ஒன் கேஸ். ஸோ சி ஹியர் ஐ எம் ஹேவிங் a rivet here, so I'm having a rivet here, so I'm having a rivet here, I'm having a rivet here, and I'm having a rivet here, and I'm having a rivet here. So I'm joining all the centers in order to identify the particular thing. So here we doesn't have the center of the gravity, but it is very easy to identify, since you can see here from this rivet to this rivet the center point is available, and from this rivet to this rivet the center point is available. If both intersects, I can find out the center of the gravity. If I want to be very clear, from here, so from here I have measuring 50, so that I have a line, and from here I measure 75, I have a line. So this is my center of gravity. So there is no need of finding out x bar and y bar, which means the x bar and y bar values are given. So after which we know that we have to draw the direct shear load, which will be similar to that of the load which is applied. So this is my direct shear load, again this is my direct shear load, again this is my direct shear load, this is my direct shear load, so this is my direct shear load, and this is my direct shear load, which has been marked as a PS. So this is PS, so this is PS, so this is PS, so this is PS, so this is again PS. So let us come back to the numbering procedure what I have been followed in this particular problem. I am going to give here as 1, so 2, so 3, so 4. It is not an issue giving you a number. The only thing is you need to identify where the maximum load would be available. So now let us join all the all the center of the rivet to the center of gravity. Okay, so this is how we can connect all the center of gravity. As I told in my previous problem, you can see here this is the line from rivet 1. If it is to be your secondary shear load, it will be acting perpendicular to this particular line. So this is my perpendicular line. I hope the line, that color is not visible. Let me go with the other color. So this is my secondary shear load for rivet number 1. Here it will be like this, since it has been like this, F2, and this is F3, okay, and this is F4, and towards the top will be F5, and here it will be F6. So this is what you have to understand very clearly. So now you may know the length what you proceed for which you may know that. I am writing here as this is L1, this is L2, this is L3, this is L4, this is L5, and this is L6 approximately. Okay, here L2 and L4 value is already known, hence both are having a value. So L2 is equal to L4 is equal to 50 mm. So this is how we have to start our problem. So only for your understanding purpose, I have been redrawn here but I have been already drawn with my answers here. So let us go with the given data. Number of rivets is 6. So load is 60 kilonewton, which I have been converted into 16 to the 10 to the 3 Newton. Eccentricity value வந்து 200 mm. Permissible shear stress value வந்து 150 megapascal கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. So இதை வச்சு நான் என்ன பண்ணணும், I need to identify what is the diameter of the rivet. So once I draw this particular diagram, it will be very easy for me to identify the direct shear load and the secondary shear load very easily. Okay, so direct shear load கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்கு ஃபார்முலா நமக்கு ஏற்கனவே தெரியும். PS is equal to P by N, which is nothing but 60 into 10 to the 3 divided by 6, which is nothing but the direct shear load is 10,000 Newton. Okay, அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் என்ன கண்டுபிடிக்கணும் அப்படின்னா, I need to find out the length. So obviously இப்போயும் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் both are symmetric. என்ன ரீசன் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, if I draw a center line here and if I draw a center line here, so both the spaces available from the center line are similar. So அதனால I can write L1 is equal to L3 is equal to L4 is equal to L6 அப்படின்னு எழுத முடியும், which is nothing but 75 square plus 100 square 50 square. So sorry, it is not L4, it will be L5. இது 2 இது 5 தான் என்னது equal. Yes. So let us come back and I know the value of now L1, L3, L4, L6 and L2 and L5. So if I want to find out the secondary shear load, I want to equate the turning moment, which is equal to the resisting moment of the rivet. So I am having 6 rivets. So I know the turning, how to find out the turning moment, which is nothing but load into eccentric distance, F1 by L1 plus L1 square plus L2 square plus L3 square plus L4 square plus L5 square and L6 square. So I have find out the F1 value, and obviously I know that I can find out by F2 divided by F1 is equal to L2 by L1. So I know all the values here except F2, since I can find out the F2. So as per the length is equal, here F2 and F5 will be equal. Similarly, so F1 is equal to F3 is equal to F4 is equal to F6. Okay, this is how we can find it out. So now I am having the secondary shear load for all the values. Now we have to compare. So whether this is higher value or this is higher value. By looking at it to a numerical value, we can find out that the shear load on this particular rivets are very high. Okay, let us come back to our diagram here. You can see here we are having here 1, 2 and 3 here. Okay, we are having 1, 2, 3 where this particular shear loads are where the load will be very high. Okay, so since this particular 1 and 3 secondary shear load are at an inclined motion, so you can see the inclined motion, I need to find out the theta value. So obviously we know that the theta value is nothing but cos theta is equal to the distance divided by L1, which is nothing but, so for example, see here I will draw it very clearly. Okay, so this is how actually it will be look like. Okay, if I found this theta, it is equal to this theta 1. So I know the value here, this value is 50 and this value is L1. Now I can find out the theta very easy, which is nothing but, so cos theta is equal to 50 divided by L1. So that is what I have been found out here. You can see here cos theta is equal to 50 divided by L1, and now I am finding out cos theta 1 is equal to cos theta 3. Now I am finding the resultant load at particular rivet number R1 and R3, and I am having the value here. So because I know the value of direct shear load, I know the value of secondary shear load at rivet number 1 and rivet number 3, and I know the value of cos theta. If I substitute the value, I can find out directly the resultant shear load available at rivet 1 and rivet number 3. And obviously you can see here it is here straight. The particular secondary shear load at rivet number 2 will be in a straight line which doesn't have any inclination. So in this case we can find out the resultant load at 2 is nothing but PS plus secondary shear load at rivet number 2. This is the formula if there is no any inclination. So I know the value of PS and I know the value of F2, since I can find out the I have forgot to mention the load here, Newton. Okay, so I know the value. Now you compare both this value, the resultant shear load at rivet number 1 and 3 and the resultant shear load at rivet number 2, where this is very higher. Okay, so it is understood that we can take this value to identify the diameter of the rivet. So we know the formula, shear stress is equal to resultant shear load by area, with which I can find out 150 is the permissible shear stress value given. I know the resultant shear load value 35384, and this D is nothing but, which is nothing but the diameter of the rivet hole. So I have found out the diameter of the rivet hole. Now you go to your data book, page number 5.29. For the corresponding rivet hole diameter, the standard diameter of the rivet is D 16 mm. So நம்மளுக்கு கொஸ்டினில் கேட்டிருக்குது diameter of the rivet கண்டுபிடிக்கணும் இந்த riveted jointக்கு. We have found out the standard rivet diameter. Okay, so I hope you understood the problem. We can discuss in some other lecture. Thank you.